You still think it's a FANG-driven market?
Yes. I mean, if you look at where growth is coming from and where uncertainty is being driven, particularly with tariffs, the companies that'll benefit, that will be impacted the least by tariffs are FANGs, and the companies that will benefit the most by tariffs on other types of companies and drive them and drive interest more towards their company are Amazon, Netflix, Google, Facebook, etc.
Mark, Jim, it's always great when you call in. I'm such a fan. But does it matter that David Wells, whom we both know is just a fantastic CFO, does it matter that he leaves Netflix?
I just read that, and I don't know what the circumstances are behind it, and so it's hard to say. It's funny. I was just thinking to myself, it's never a good sign when a CFO leaves, but it's not necessarily a bad sign. You always wonder, and I don't know what the circumstances behind it and his departure are at all. So I really can't speculate. I haven't sold my stock if that means anything.
Well, that's a statement in and of itself. You think the market's in a good place overall, where we are right now? We're 1% from an all-time high, a new all-time high on the S&P.
It's a conversation I have. Literally, I'm down to maybe 4 dividend-owning stocks, 2 shorts, and Amazon and Netflix. And I've got a whole lot of cash on the sidelines. There's no way where you can just say, I just trust everything that's going on, and that concerns me. Put aside tariffs and put aside what the president is doing. He's got his reasons. But when I just think we borrowed from the future to kind of pump up the current market. And as much as Rick Santelli gets upset about quantitative easing and cheap money, I think borrowing from the future and the debt is just as big a problem, if not more so. And that really concerns me because at some point that's going to come due. And I don't know when the market will start to recognize that, and that's my biggest concern.
Do tell. 2 shorts. Any want to reveal
No, I'll
them?
keep them to myself. But I will say this. There's a site that I started funding 12 years ago. It's called Share Sleuth. And he does all my research for public companies that present public information that most people ignore. And he just does a great job. And so if you want to know, where my short interests traditionally have been, just check out that site because we publish it all. Because, I'm not best friends with the SEC, so literally anything that I've shorted has been published.
Sure. You mentioned the stocks you own. You still own Twitter?
No, I don't. No, not for any particular reason other than I wanted to try to accumulate as much cash as possible.
Oh, so you're holding more cash than you normally would?
Oh, yeah, a lot more cash, yeah. I'm ready, willing, and able if something happens.
Great.
Do you think we're going to get, we're having a conversation around the desk today at the beginning of our show saying, look, this is the great American stock market representing what is a very strong economy, especially in the face of all of these other issues around the world, Turkey, currencies, et cetera. So rather than think that we can hit record highs, 3,000 or 3,100 on the S&P, you think we're going to take a step or two back?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that we can't hit record highs. I'm just saying that I don't have a complete level of confidence that we will. I'm concerned about the debt. I think with the tax cuts, there's the algorithm, if you will. Will the GDP realistically grow fast enough to overcome the increases in the debt and particularly increases from interest rates that expand the debt? And so I'm not ready to say that that's going to be a net positive to the economy. And if I get a feeling that growth will continue at 4+%, and we don't have, and the debt will then come down, then I'll get back in the market. But I just, I've got the 2 stocks that I think are great companies, and I think there's a whole lot of uncertainty that attaches itself to pretty much everything else in the market.
How does Mark Cuban view Apple hitting $1 trillion? Does that make you concerned, worried about where we are in the cycle? Oh my gosh, that marks a top if nothing else. How do you view it? How do you view something like that?
Because every threshold always seems really, really high until it's not anymore. And particularly with inflation starting to pop up more and more and more, I think big numbers will be big until now they're small. I mean, I remember being a kid, $100,000 house. If only one day I can own a $100,000 house. if only one day this stock had a $100 million market cap, if only one day this company had a $1 billion market cap, and then, you bust through those barriers and then they become the floor. So, I try not to put a whole lot of credence into, well, we're hitting this number, so everything must be different.